I don't care how you do it. You just have to make it fit. Look, I don't care. I don't care how you do it. Just make it fit over the top of my horns. All right? And I don't care what they say. They are not getting him back. They are not getting him back. We like the card games. We like what he does with the Milwaukee family players. Frankly, we'll even enjoy the baseball. Don't fully understand that one. But we will do that. And they're not getting him back. They gave him to me. He's mine now. Hello? Hello? How are you? I didn't see you there. I've got the summer solstice video. I told them if they didn't give it to me, I'd break their legs. Or not bring spring. You know. In my power. Yes. But I've got the summer solstice video. I think they've put something on my horns. I can't see. But I think they've done something to my horns. Anyway. Honestly, you sit down for a little nap and you get up and you just never know round here. Anyway, we have another play. We're doing a comedy. Yes, we're doing a comedy. We're doing Twelfth Night. Twelfth Night, another comedy. And the Milwaukee family players have been working a lot better lately. I think it's our little guest that's been getting them up to speed. He's had them playing baseball. I don't fully understand that. I enjoyed the bridge. I don't get the baseball, but it seems to work. So if it's working, it's working. No complaints. So we did Twelfth Night, or What You Will. It's got a funny sort of title, but then again, the comedies are a bit weird. Comedies are all a bit weird. This one has twins, has brother and sister twins, like my brother cousins, Artemis and Apollo, or as I like to call them, Artie and Polly. They really hate that. So, Artie and Polly. We'll be talking about Artie and Polly as well during this. So, Twelfth Night. Twelfth Night starts in the court of Count Orsino. And Count Orsino is the ruler of Illyria. And he is in love with the lady Olivia. And he has a messenger come in, and the messenger comes and tells him that the lady Olivia is going to not listen to any suits for the next 7 years because she's in mourning for her brother. And the Count Orsino is very upset about this because he loves her, and he thinks, well, why should a brother get that? Why shouldn't a husband? And she doesn't have one of them yet. So he's a bit put out by this. Next we meet a young woman named Viola, and she has just been washed up onto the shore of Illyria where their ship has been wrecked. And she had a brother called Sebastian, who she believes is drowned. And so, finding herself alone in a foreign country, she decides that she's going to dress up as a boy and pass herself off as a man. She hears about the Count Orsino, and she decides that she would like to enter service in his household, and the captain, who's also been washed up with her, says that he'll help her and introduce her into the court. So she is going to be known from now on as Cesario. Next, we end up in the third household, which is the Lady Olivia's household. And the Lady Olivia's household is, you would think, a very sober place, given that she's just lost her brother and going into mourning. But living in her household is Sir Toby. And Sir Toby is complaining that his niece is just way much of a spoil sport and no fun, and her maid Mariah tells Sir Toby that, you know, if you and your little friend Sir Andrew, who you've brought to woo her, were a little less drunken and riotous, then maybe she might pay a bit more attention to him. But that she does not like your drunken riotousness. While he's being told off, Sir Andrew is ready to leave because he's like, look, she's not interested in me. She's so not interested in me. She's nicer to other people than a lot of other people than she is to me. And the Count is interested in her. And because of that, I'm going to go because I can't compete with that, says Sir Andrew. And Sir Toby is like, no. My niece hates Orsino. He is no competition for you. You must stay. And Andrew, being a feeble-minded creature, decides to stay. Okay, so back in Orsino's court, Cesario is told that Orsino thinks that he is a very fine person and can join his court. Orsino then tells Cesario to go to woo Olivia. Cesario has seen Orsino, and Viola is really smitten with him. But being in a boy's costume, there really isn't much she can do about, you know, that. Unless, of course, he likes that sort of thing, in which case, you know, that's not really a problem, you know. We don't know. But, so, Cesario goes to Olivia, is sent off to Olivia. We finally meet Olivia. Olivia is returning to her household, and she is telling off her fool, Feste. Now, Feste is one of Armand's fools, so he's a witty fool rather than a funny fool. So not a Falstaff. So Toby is more of a Falstaff type of character, but a witty fool like Touchstone. So Feste jokes her out of her being cross with him. And Malvolio, who is her steward, is also quite cross and thinks that this is not good enough. Malvolio also has a go at Feste, but Feste has a go back. And actually Olivia defends Feste against Malvolio because Malvolio is just very, very grumpy. And it turns out Malvolio is also in love with Olivia. Turns out a lot of people are in love with Olivia. Andrew and Orsino and Malvolio. Now, after having, you know, dismissed her servants, Mariah comes in and says, there is a fellow come from Orsino. And Olivia wants to know who of her people is talking to him, and it's Sir Toby's down at the gate. Oh, they're going to think we're mad. Send somebody else down to get him. Send Malvolio down. And so they send Malvolio down, and Malvolio comes back and asks, who is this fellow down at the gate? And Malvolio says he's a very pertinent person. He's not really old enough to be a man, so more a boy. And he says he will not leave without seeing you. And so Olivia's sort of perked up interest-wise because so far everyone, she's just dismissed them and they haven't put up any fight. And this one's really sort of like, okay, that's interesting. They've not done that before. Oh, send him up and I'll have a look at him. And so Cesario comes and speaks with Olivia. And Cesario speaks to Olivia with great language. He starts out very much, you know, I'm talking about this for my master, and this is what I would say. But very soon, Cesario is quite curious about this lady, and this lady is very interested in Cesario. And not just because he is more persistent, she's actually starting to think he might be a bit of all right. And Cesario warms up to the wooing. Turns out Cesario is very good at doing this. This is sort of a bit different to Orlando in As You Like It, where he's pasting the cruddy poetry and can't manage to talk to his beloved. Cesario is very, very good at wooing, but of course Cesario knows what a woman wants to hear from a man. Here. So Cesario has a bit of a tendency to sound a bit like a romantic story rather than a real person. It's all very overblown and fanciful, but it works on Olivia. And so when Cesario is given the message, the typical message, go back and tell your master that I am not interested, and maybe though if you come back and tell me how he took it, maybe? Oh yeah, she's... And so Cesario leaves, but as soon as Cesario leaves, she calls Malvolio and takes one of the rings off her own finger and gives it to Malvolio and says, here, that boy gave me a ring. I need you to send it back to him. And so Malvolio goes off to return the ring. Next we see another shipwreck rescue. A little bit later there, so he's not crawled out of the water. Sebastian, Viola's brother, and Antonio, who rescued him. And Sebastian is indebted to Antonio for rescuing him. He's very grateful, and he's decided that he's going to also seek employment with the Count, with in Orsino's court. Antonio is reluctant to go anywhere near the court because he is deemed a pirate and a wanted criminal by the court. So he does not want to go anywhere near there. But he wishes Sebastian well. He doesn't stay away for very long. Malvolio catches up with Cesario and returns the ring. Cesario denies giving the ring. Malvolio throws it on the floor and says, look, it's yours, or it can be anyone who finds it. I don't care. Don't go throwing jewelry at my mistress. And he leaves. And Cesario is like, what does this mean? And oh, is she in love with me? Ooh, that's probably not good. That probably can't be good. She actually thinks, oh, and I love Orsino. Oh, this cannot go well. Like, if she loves me, and she can't love Orsino, and I love Orsino, but he loves her, and oh, this is going to be ugly. Oh, this can't be good. Later, Sir Toby and Sir Andrew and Feste are drinking and having a great time. And Maria and Malvolio come down and Maria comes down to tell them, you've got to be more quiet. You're waking up the house. You're being too indiscreet. You're being indiscreet. You have to be more quiet. And then Malvolio comes down and he tells everyone off, including Maria. And they're all like, yeah, but sucks to you. And then Maria says, I know that Malvolio is in love with my mistress. And I can write very like her. And what if I wrote a love letter to her or to him, pretending it's from her, asking him to do all manner of stupid things. And then we get to watch him make a complete nutter fool of himself. And they think this is really, really good. So that's what they're going to do. The next thing we see is Orsino and Cesario are talking about love. And Cesario tells Orsino that he is in love with someone who is somewhat of Orsino's years and somewhat of Orsino's looks. And Orsino says, oh, then they're too old for you. And so Cesario agrees to go again to Olivia's house and try and woo her one again. Now, next, Sir Andrew and Sir Toby and the guardian Fabian are waiting for Maria to drop the letter in the path of Malvolio. Now, Malvolio is walking through the garden, imagining himself ruler of all his surveys, imagining himself married to Olivia. Very, very pompous. This is without even getting a letter. So we see exactly how deluded this silly creature is. And he finds the letter. The others are all watching this and think this is incredibly funny, especially as he gets more and more excited and really warms to the theme of potentially marrying Olivia or Olivia loving him. And the letter tells him that he should be in her presence smiling, wear yellow, and have his tights cross-gartered. And Maria knows that she hates yellow. She thinks cross-gartering is a horrible fashion, and that wouldn't it just be so much fun to see Malvolio, the grumpy Malvolio, smiling. So they've set him up something fierce. Cesario chats with Feste. Feste, I think, has worked out what Cesario's secret is, and also is accosted by Sir Toby and Sir Andrew, who bring her to Olivia. So Andrew is really quite downhearted about this, and Olivia, not while they are present, but Olivia actually confesses that she loves Cesario, and Cesario is forced to reject her because she says, I come and woo for my master. So Cesario is forced to reject Olivia, and Olivia is not happy about this. Andrew sees that Olivia is far, far, far nicer to Cesario than she has ever been to him. And he decides, you know what? I'm out of here. I'm sick of this. This is embarrassing at this point. It is just pure embarrassment. And I'm going to go. So Toby convinces his friend to stay, saying, no, what you have to do is fight a duel with him. Because Sir Andrew is a complete coward. But he tells him that Cesario is a total coward, and he will back down immediately if there's thought of a duel. So obviously this will work. You'll get rid of him. Having now convinced Sir Andrew to duel with Cesario, Maria comes in and tells them that Malvolio is ridiculously dressed and they all need to come round and watch what happens. Now, next, Sebastian is now in town. And he's really happy to see that Antonio has joined him. But Antonio is in disguise. Antonio gives Sebastian money so that he can enjoy town and asks him to promise to meet him at the inn. Next, Malvolio comes in to Olivia And he is smiling and he is acting strangely and he is quoting the letter, and Olivia is like, what on earth is happening with my steward? He is crazy. He's totally crazy. And she calls the others, who have been conveniently close by, to have Malvolio looked after because he's clearly not well. He's not himself. So they bundle him off and lock him in a cellar. Now we have all the potential confusions. So many potential confusions. Honestly, you know, it does really make me think of Artie and Polly. Because, like, I mean, Artie is just, you know, she's off with her nymphs. She's pretty cool. Father Uncle Zeus thinks she's still a virgin because he doesn't think, if it can't make you pregnant, he doesn't think it counts. So therefore, whatever she does with her nymphs, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Yeah. But she said, but she, you know, you would think, considering the amount she and Polly fight, you would think that they wouldn't be that close. But, oh my God, they see, they're my brother, sister, cousins too. So when Polly comes sniffing around my nymphs every spring, and like, I've already had a number turned into trees and plants and everything else as they try to get away from Polly, because my goodness, if somebody doesn't understand consent, boundaries and no, it's my brother cousin Polly. So he's often in my bad books. He really is. I really am not happy with my brother cousin Polly. But honestly, if I have a go at him, guess who comes riding in off a white horse? Usually literally, is Artie. Artie, no, they fight like cat and dog, but if I go and tell him off, no, she'll come down and... Give me a break. I try explaining to her that he is bugging them. But the concept that they might actually, be different to her nymphs doesn't even pass through that stupid little head of hers. That they might be different because he doesn't touch her nymphs. So I'm obviously the one making up stories about her brother Polly. And you wonder why I don't like going topside. My family. Really? Anyway, where was I? Oh yes, they just locked up Malvolio. So, having locked up Malvolio, now we have a duel. Yes. Except it's not really a good duel. Well, so Andrew has written a letter, which is gobbledygook, and contradicts itself and is one thing and then another thing and then one thing and then another thing. So Toby looks at that and says, you know what, I'm going to deliver the challenge verbally. Cesario is back again, been sent back again to try again for Olivia after Malvolio has been locked up. And so he's hanging around. Again, he tries to woo for his master, and again Olivia is most upset that he is not responding to her. And as Cesario is leaving, Sir Toby accosts him, saying that Sir Andrew wants to fight with him and makes it out to seem that Sir Andrew is a complete devil and that he's going to have to look to his sword. And Cesario tries to get out of this and like, no. I can't possibly, I'm not. So Toby is like, no, he will not hear of it. And then he goes and tells exactly the same thing to Sir Andrew in the reverse, that Cesario is a devil and will not hear no for an answer. And so these two completely reluctant swordsmen are ready to fight each other, are being geared up to fight each other in spite of the fact that they're completely incompetent. And just as the fight is about to start, Antonio appears and takes the sword from Cesario, thinking that he is Sebastian, and fights for him. At which time, Sir Toby, realizing, oh dear, this has got my friend in well over his head, takes the sword from Sir Andrew to fight with Antonio. But before they can really fight, the guards come in and arrest Antonio. And Antonio asks Cesario, please give me back the money I gave you, because I need it. But before Cesario has no idea what this is, because he gave the money to Sebastian. Cesario is unable to give him any money, and he is arrested by the guards. And Cesario starts to think, well, maybe my brother is still alive. Oh, this could be, this is, whoa, maybe my brother's still alive. Huh. Okay. Feste meets Sebastian and mistakes him for Cesario, but insists on bringing him to Olivia's house. Andrew makes the same mistake, only to find himself beaten up by Sebastian. Olivia sees Sebastian. Nice lady, nice house, rich, in love with me. Crazy place. But oh well, yeah, sure, I'll come with you, lady. And Olivia insists that he marry her. And he's like, I cannot for the life of me think of a reason not to marry you. So they get married. Feste, dressed as a priest, goes to see Malvolio, who's been locked up in a cellar. Malvolio gets tormented by him for a bit, and then Feste takes off the priest costume and comes back and says and speaks to Malvolio, and Malvolio says, Feste, bring me paper and ink and light. I've been locked up. I've been grossly abused. I need to send a message to our mistress. And so Feste is like, okay, I can do this. Because really it's got past the point of being funny at this point, so we kind of got to let him out. He's been quite humiliated and upset, and you know, they've had their fun, so he's gonna let him out. Orsino arrives with Viola and the officers with Antonio, and Viola says, this is the man who tried to save me, and Orsino recognizes Antonio as a pirate, or believed to be a pirate, and as a criminal. Olivia comes out and she's like, what are you doing with Orsino, husband? And Viola is like, I'm not your husband. And Orsino is betrayed by this. Betrayed. And he threatens to actually kill Cesario because Olivia loves Cesario instead, even though he loves Cesario now. And it's all getting a little bit tense and weird and difficult. And I would say when they're threatening to kill you, that's a giant red flag. Don't go near that stuff. But you know what I think about that. And so it's all getting a bit sort of like, what's going on? And then Sebastian appears and he's like, I'm really sorry, but I kind of hit your uncle. Sorry about that. So how are we? Sweetums, darling, I know it was fast, but I'm all good. And everyone looks at him. And then everyone looks at Cesario. And there's two of them. And it's, oh. And Sebastian is, I have a sister. I don't have a brother. And Cesario is, I have a brother, Sebastian, and Viola. And they're really happy. And Orsino, suddenly discovering that Cesario is a girl, he can marry her, though I rather suspect that honeymoon is going to involve a little bit of role play and dress-ups and some unconventional stuff. I'm just saying, given that he fell in love with Viola as a boy, then I'm rather suggesting that Orsino swings both ways. He's a little bit like Polly. I'm thinking there's going to be some kink in that bedroom. No judgy, just I think that's where that's heading. And finally, a letter comes and Malvolio is allowed out. Fabian explains that Malvolio was never mad. It was a trick when the letter is shown to Olivia, and Olivia says, this isn't my handwriting. And it was a trick by Mariah and Sir Toby. And because it was such a good trick and it worked so well, and Sir Toby was so pleased with it, he has married Mariah. And everybody is happy. And everybody is married to somebody, the right somebody. Antonio is set free and everybody is happy except for Malvolio, who is grumpy again and swears he will have revenge on you. Sort of like Don John in Much Ado About Nothing, but nobody really thinks anything is going to happen about that. And everybody's happily ever after. And so there we go. That is your Solstice play. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you back in the new year with a new play. So, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Hello. I thought I would finally tell you the story of the Milwaukee Family Players. Yes, you know the ones. They're my theatre company. I've talked about them a lot, but I thought I would finally give you the backstory of the Milwaukee Family Players. So, in 1954, in a terrible, terrible storm, the Milwaukee Family Players, who are best known as the world's worst theatre company. They were absolutely vile human beings. They were absolutely hideous butchers of theatre, were travelling from one little tiny nothing town to another little tiny nothing town when they were involved in a single vehicle accident. The tour bus rode off the road into a tree, over a cliff, and then was struck by lightning, assuring the instant death of everyone involved. Don't feel too bad. They all deserved exactly what was coming to them. Now, the reason this was significant is because they were so bad, they were going to come down here. Because remember, I think I told you about our management change that rendered only bad things coming down here. And because what was in their heads could not be removed, and what was in their heads was nearly the complete works of Shakespeare, being a repertory company, that had to come down here too. A nice little loophole, and a very, very nice birthday present from my father, Uncle Zeus. Thank you, Daddy. Love you. So, that's the story of the Milwaukee Family Players. Bye. If you would like to support this channel, come across to the Black Cockie Press website, www.blackcockiepress.com.au, where you will find books and other writing services to help with your writing.